Oh, Erica's getting bumped down and back in. So Tina, can you let people in while I start?
Yes.
Okay, welcome everybody. We know that this is a somewhat big process, and I am very happy to be able to support you through this along with our guidance counselor, Tina Sella. And so she is going to be the person that you want to reach out to if you have any particular questions. But we just wanted to sort of go over the information, which is really all resources are readily available on My Schools, and Tina will go over that a little bit so that you can also review it. But I find it's helpful sometimes to do this together and just to ask questions and support each other. Because if you're thinking it and wondering it, I promise you somebody else is too. I just want to remind folks to stay on mute. Even during the Q&A portion, we will use the chat for questions. So please refrain from comments, and we'll take questions at the end. Okay, so even if you put the question in the chat, we'll take the questions at the end. Please refrain from comments, information you want to share, or side conversations, because it's very distracting. Keep your questions general and save your personal inquiries for a later time. So again, you can reach out to Tina. Tina, if you want to put your email in the chat, that would be great. And share the space so that a variety of voices can be heard. And with that, I don't know, Tina, if you wanted to just say anything.
Yeah, I'm just putting my email in the chat, and you can always reach out to me if you have any kind of questions or anything moving forward. And I will try to do my best to answer them or try to find the answer for you.
Great. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So welcome. Tina and I actually used the PowerPoint that is available for you. So we will go through it together, and then you can always revisit it on your own. The first thing is, how do we apply to NYC middle schools?
So everybody should have gotten a welcome letter. If you didn't get a welcome letter from the DOE that was mailed to you, or I tried to send them home with students also, please email me and let me know, and I will get you one ASAP. But you are, I guess, My Schools account, you need a personal email address, and then you need your student's ID and that code that's on the welcome letter to create an account. And if you need help, please email me and I will help.
And I just want to say, when you do that, it's going to be really important to check and make sure the address is correct on your child's application. And the reason why is because the schools that your child can apply to really depends on both the district that they are attending school in, which for us is District 1, and the district that they live in, which for neighborhood school is really all over the city. So it's really important, especially if you have two households, if your child has two households, that you make sure that you have the address that you want on your child's application. And if you don't, you need to reach out to Tina and the office immediately so that we can make that change. So when you log into your school's account, it is going to be customized to show all the programs that your child is eligible to attend. So it's already pre-populated, which is why it is so important to make sure the address is correct. So the first one is if you have a zoned school. So if your child, but based on where you live, is in a zoned middle school, they will have priority to attend that school. The second one are district programs. So those programs are open to all students who are zoned to attend the school in that district. So if your child, and this is what I just talked about, if your child is zoned in one district and goes to school in another, they will have schools both from our district, District 1, and schools from the district that they live in. Then there are also borough-wide programs. So those are open to all students who live or attend schools in a borough. So if I live in Brooklyn, I would be eligible for all the Manhattan borough and also for Brooklyn. And then finally, there are citywide programs. And those are programs that anybody in New York City can apply to. Sorry about that.
So at the top, it says the deadline for the applications is March 1st this year. So you definitely have enough time to make your choices. They suggest that you list up to as many programs as 12 on the application. For some schools, they might have dual programs in one school, might be a language program or something else. So you have the opportunity to apply to more than one of them. And if you are having any issues with that or need help with the process of how to list them, or if you want me to submit the application for you, please let me know and I can help with that process also.
Okay, so how do kids get offers to middle school for this next school year?
So there's 4 factors. It depends on what school you're choosing, what you're putting on the application, and the order that you're putting it in for your child. And then it has to do with seat availability at that school, how many seats are available for the amount of applicants that are applying to the school or program. And then it has to do with priorities. Priorities might include if you have a sibling at the school this year, they're honoring if you have a sibling. So that's a priority. If you're at a zone school, would be a priority. If it's a K-8 school, which we don't have, but that is a priority, a 5th grader would have priority to go into that school. And if you're in a district where there is a borough-wide school.
You want us to just say about the...
So the admissions method, students are matched with individual seats within those priorities that I just mentioned. There are randomly assigned numbers, and or there might be a school like Mark Twain where there are auditions to get in, or a language criteria for the school.
Is this me, Tina?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh yeah, and then you're going to share your screen.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's important to notice, and Tina's going to walk you through this. You can see seat availability and demand, and we'll show you how you find that out so that you can see sort of like, what are my child's chances of getting into this school? So each middle school program has a set of number of seats for incoming students. There are specific seats for students who are considered general education students and students with disabilities who have individual education plans. So they have a certain number of seats set up for both gen ed students and also students with disabilities. Applicants are automatically assigned to one group of seats based on the student's instructional program. So you will automatically be placed based on whether you have an IEP or your child does not have an IEP. And then the number of applicants, available seats, and applicants per seat is based on what was available from data from last year. So when we go through it right now, we'll show you, it's really just going to be based on what it looked like last year. If you're interested in applying to high demand programs, you absolutely should, but please remember to add some additional programs that have average level of demand. So high demand programs have 4 or more applicants per seat, and average demand programs have 3 or fewer applicants per seat. And I think that's just really important to try to manage expectations. Tina, should I stop sharing so you can share?
Sure.
Okay. So Tina's going to show you how it is that you can navigate in My Schools to see what the seat availability is.
So I picked a school in District 1, the Eastside Community. And if you scroll down, and you can search it, or it should come up if you're in District 1 or in another district as one of the schools of choice for you. And if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, in this East Side community where the little star is, if you click on that, it gives you more information, and it will give you what Diantha was just talking about, the applicants per seat, and how many, it kind of breaks it down, and how they fill the seats. And also in this school for East Side, there's, I don't think there are any, yeah, it's open admission, they're randomly selected, and there are no priorities. This year, no, I believe they're not looking at attendance or anything like that either. So this would be based on that random number assignment. So if 5 students applied, the student with the higher number would get a seat first. So there's no priorities that have to do with this.
So, and I know that this is a real change from previous years. So last year was the first year they did it this way. And I just want to let folks know that principals, both elementary school principals and middle school principals, middle high school in some cases, really have no control over the enrollment process or the waitlist process. So when you're thinking about middle schools for your child and you're having that conversation with your child, you want to have more than one option available. You want to not have your child or your family focus on just one option, because it really is a lottery. And so we want to really be open to learning about all of the schools in the district. I will say many of District 1 schools are considered high demand schools. So just try to keep your options open. Thank you. And I will go back to sharing, make sure I'm on the right thing. I am. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we talked about that. I think this is you, Tina.
Oh, I had it down this year, sorry.
Oh, if it's me, I'll do me. All right.
It's the same thing we just said, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, it's just reiterating what Tina just said, which is that it's based on the number of seats available. All applicants in priority group will be considered first, then seats as still available applicants in priority group 2 will be considered next, and so on. And then this is some of the priorities. And again, when you go to each school, you can see the school's priorities. And I just want to reiterate to Tina's point, attendance is not a priority for any schools from last year. And it just says right here to keep your admissions priority to a school, include it on your application. You don't have to list it first. You keep the same priority to attend the school, whether you rank it first, third, or last. This means that if you prefer any programs to your zoned or continuing K-8 school, which we don't have, place your preferred programs higher on your application. Okay, so preferred should be in order of how you've rated them, how much you like them.
Okay, so this is more of what we were just talking about. If there are more applicants to the program than available seats within a priority group, a random selection process like a lottery will be used to fill the seats. I don't know if we have to go over the rest of it. We already spoke about it.
Yeah, and people might ask questions.
Okay. And I think I touched on this before. The other admission method might be a language criteria or an audition process, like Mark Twain, something that you would need to do an audition for. And please let me know if you're going to do those things. This way I can help you through that process.
And there is Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is this me, Tina?
I think it's me. It's just this year they're giving priority to siblings and multiples, meaning if your student, a sibling is already in the school, they're giving, that would be a first priority for you to get into that school. And also if you have, I think they were saying like twins or triplets, you can do one application. I'm not sure we have that need in our school right now, but it's something that they changed for this year. Instead of doing separate applications, you can do one.
And just so you know, you will need to identify if you have a sibling. So it's not, the school won't know, but when you're submitting your applications, you will be prompted to identify whether or not there are any siblings that already attend the school, and siblings are considered half siblings, full siblings, step siblings, foster siblings. So it's very broad in their definition of siblings, which is a very positive change. Okay. All right. So last thoughts, tip for your application, list up to 12 programs. But make sure that you like the schools that you've put on there. You don't want to put a school on there and then get placed there and that you don't want. If you don't match to your first choice, you have the same chance of matching to your second choice as if it had been placed first, as we've said, and so on. Don't only apply to high demand schools. If you're applying to high demand middle schools, you should also consider applying to some schools with average demand. And we spoke to that a little bit. And after applying to your favorite choices, consider adding just a few additional programs. Adding programs below your first choice does not lower your chances of matching to your top choice. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And I see that I don't think there are any questions in the chat. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, Tina, did you want to share the resources?
Sure, I could do that now, and then we could.
Yeah, do it right now so that parents can look at that and see. Okay, and Lisa, I see your hand. Give us a second.
So on the DOE website, they have a ton of information for people and even videos that walk you through things. You're just going to click on, once you're on the main website for the DOE, under enrollment tab, enroll by grade, grade by grade, and then click on middle school. And it has a bunch of videos that you can watch that walk you through the process. There's all kinds of informations on how to get onto My Schools and how to create an account for your child. It's all right here. They've done a great job this year in providing great information and easy to follow steps for the process.
Okay, so we're a small group. Lisa, do you want to just unmute and ask your question?
Sure. Hi. Two questions. Firstly, there are some on Inside Schools, there are some schools that are listed as unzoned, but yet they are not in the list. Does that just mean that there's a mistake in Inside Schools and not in our applications? Because I was looking at some unzoned and I don't see them in my list for Luciano. For example, MS 255, the Salk School of Science, it says it's unzoned on Inside Schools, but it's not on the list.
That's interesting because it is a District 2 school. So I'm wondering, Tina, we can look into that and get back to you about that. Because
Okay.
my understanding is that Salk is a District 2 school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
so
coming up for Luciano.
There is a something else, and it's not coming up for Luciano.
Right.
Okay.
And then my next question is, do you know, for example, so I'm planning to move. I'm trying to move into the city before September starts. What do you know what the process would be if we moved into, and we're going to try to move into your district, but if we were to move into the city, would we be able to change or reapply or?
No, it's got, the application process is going to be the address that you have by March 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, but just know that he's eligible, like all of our children are eligible for all District 1 schools. So if you're planning on moving to District 1, you're still going to have all those options.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And we'll get back to you, Lisa, about the other question.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Hi, this is Diana Tallulah Rose's mom. Thank you for doing this. I've looked at the website and hear what you're saying today, and what my takeaway is really that if your lottery number is towards, whatever the favorable side is, you get your pick of the schools you want to go to, and then it gets progressively more challenging. Is that fair?
Tina, can you answer that one? I don't feel like I know I could answer it.
I think it's also based on the priorities.
Mhm.
So it's not just about the ranking or the number that you receive. So it
Right,
depends on the school and the priorities and then the ranking.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
If you have any specific questions about schools, I'm happy to, I see you, Tim. I'm happy to talk with anybody about the schools. Also, if you need help with your application, if you're not sure, reach out to Tina. She can walk you through it. If you need support in Spanish, Denise can also walk you through it. So we will walk you through it. We want to make sure everybody submits their application by, before the deadline. Tim?
Yeah, I want to piggyback on what was just asked, because when you all were showing the East Side school, it showed its applicants per seat, and there were separate columns for, I think that you said they were priorities, but like general ed and then special ed, or is it just like you're in your own basket on the entry and the amount of seats and the amount of people that are applying vis-a-vis for the general special ed seats, that's just its own category. It has no reflection on the larger numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you're going to get easier ability to get into a school just because your kid, or is, because that's the part I didn't understand about what was just said, because I was thinking,
Yeah, the pool for students with IEPs, students with disabilities, is usually smaller than the pool for students without IEPs.
yeah.
So that is the case. I don't know, Tina, can you answer that better than that?
Well, it said,
Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah, Tim.
It said, and I could be reading it wrong, so that's why I'm asking, but it said 4 kids per seat in general ed, and then 4 kids per seat and special ed. So I was like, oh, well, so it's the same statistical difficulty.
Yeah, so for that school it is, but remember, it's going to vary school by school. So East Side has that. It's a very popular school. Tompkins also very popular. So yes, but you just looking in and seeing, you'll see the difference in breakdown. So you're right.
Okay, thank you.
It just depends on the school. Any other questions?
This is Diana again. Based on your experience, are people generally content with what they end up with? I mean that, do most people get their first like 1, 2, 3 choices, or are you dealing with a bunch of, distraught parents every year?
I think it's a handful of parents that aren't happy with with the placements, not a huge number at all. I will say, Diana, this is only our second year doing it this way.
Yeah,
So it's a very different, I mean, the process itself has really changed.
Mhm.
And so, but I would say for last year, we did not have, we had just a handful of families that were not happy about it. And the majority of families were happy. Even if they didn't get their first choice, they were happy with the choice that they got.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yes, Tim.
Sorry for monopolizing. But you said that you could help us with questions about individual schools, and I've looked through the list, and I've gone on a few tours, but I haven't been able to do every school, and maybe I've missed it, that there's more tours. I didn't see many more, but can you? I'm not asking you to do the looking for me, but there a way that there could be some assistance in the, because it's a little overwhelming, like, everything I've seen so far seems pretty encouraging, but like it's a lot of information. I'm just wondering how you might steer me towards figuring out more particulars, I guess. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying?
I would say it makes sense to reach out to me or Denise. I feel like the two of us know the middle schools and high schools very well, given that both of our children have gone to them. So I feel like we can speak to that, but again, it's really about, and I think that that's more specific about the child. So that's why I say that would be more of a one-on-one conversation. If you feel like you need to, and you don't have a sense of the schools. It's hard. It's so hard not to be able to go into the building. And, that's what you all were able to do when you chose neighborhood school. And so that just feels very challenging, I know. But I would say, we're happy to touch base. I also would say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because this process has really changed, and getting your heart set on one school, is, I think, a little bit of a setup. So really trying to be open, and it's really positive and encouraging for me to hear you say, Tim, that you felt like there's a lot of great schools in District 1, because I agree. I think there are a lot of really great schools in District 1. So, that said, I will also say that I'm familiar with District 2 schools. I'm not familiar with schools in Brooklyn. But Denise might be able to help you a little bit more with that. But she's also a District 1 parent who lives in District 1. So that's why Inside Schools, I know some of you have mentioned, and My Schools is going to be the best place to get the information. And also just like go troll their websites and see what vibe you get from that, even though our website stinks. But I mean, I would say that like usually it's a very good representative of a school. You can get a sense from it. Kate, yeah,
Hi, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I'm really encouraged to hear that I don't have to figure out some formula of which school to put first. That's really helpful. I was wondering if, I know some parents from last year that their child didn't get in any of their choices, and they didn't put 12 choices, like you're saying is a good idea. Do you know about the waiting list process? Do they do, oh, okay. I was wondering how that works.
So what will happen is that if you, let's say Cordelia gets placed at her second choice, okay? If a spot opens up at the first choice, this is my understanding, Tina, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If a spot opens up at the first choice for Cordelia, because it's rated above, she will get an offer from that school. Is that right, Tina? So there's-
You're automatically put on a wait list. Whether you want it or not, you're getting put on it, and then you can choose if you don't want that. But you don't have to do anything. Everybody has that process that happens for them.
I think that's hard for parents because there's nothing to do except to sort of trust that you've been placed on the wait list. But it does happen that then any school that has been placed, that you have placed above the choice that your child was placed in, you'll get an offer from that school if a space opens up. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
The only other thing I was going to say, I think oh, go ahead, Tim, first.
Sorry. So on the wait list, is it always in the hands of the DOE, or does it ever, I mean, getting into TNS, I remember I called up and I had a conversation with Diane. So that was a thing that was between the school and me as a parent. Or does this, so if we're on the wait list, do we call the schools, or is it just totally through the computer of the DOE?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what's changed in this new process. Even ours has changed, so that we no longer can really do that. So right now what's happened is that, yes, the wait list is managed completely, not by the schools, but by enrollment. So you can certainly reach out and say, but that's not going to, they don't have control over it, which is very hard. That feels really hard. Anilsa, I see you.
Okay, hi. I have a question because this is really new for me. Because in my country, we we start in one school and we finish in that school. So and it's hard, it's difficult. Like I definitely I don't understand that much. And it's very hard for me to pick up school and you cannot go in the school, like for the tours. Uh, but it is what it is. Okay. So the question is, when so we're gonna send to 12 school to 12. I'm gonna apply for 12 schools, right? And then
If you can find 12 schools that you really want or you think are good matches, you will put down 12 schools.
okay, yeah, for now I only have 3. But like I cannot like only focus in 3 because we never know. So but my question is, you guys, the school is gonna send like all the papers from Diego, or who do that? We do that or you guys do that?
Nope. So
Really?
everything, you don't have to do anything. All you do is fill out this application and then the enrollment will take it from there. We will send, once your child is accepted, and if that is the school that you go to in September, we send all of the files. We'll send all of Diego's stuff to that school so that they have, it's called the CUME folder, so that that folder follows them with all the information, but you don't have to send any other additional information. All you do is fill out the My Schools information.
Yeah, okay. So
And I
you guys,
encourage you to reach out to Denise and ask her about some other options for Diego, so you guys can think through that together.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Of course. Constance?
How is your ranking on the wait list determined? Do you know that? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Do you want to take that one?
You know, I don't exactly know, but I think it's the random number that's assigned.
Right.
And if a
So if
spot
you get
opens up,
number 1, you're pretty good. If you get number 10,000, you're
That's
That's
right. I think,
not so
I
good.
agree.
Okay.
I think it's based on the number that your
Yeah.
child was assigned in the lottery.
do
Um,
you get to know that number
I don't
so
think
that you
so.
know what chance you have of maybe getting off the wait list or anything?
I think you could probably call the school, but I don't know if they'll
Mhm.
share that information.
No, I
Um,
mean, would you know is there any way through the DOE to find out your randomly assigned number? Just so
I
you
don't
have any
think
idea?
so. I don't think so.
I
I
think,
don't,
I
I
think
just,
actually, I think that was a big deal last year, and after the numbers are assigned and the applications are in, you're allowed to
Mhm.
make a request in writing from them and they provide you the number.
Yeah,
Some
that
kind
would
of
help to
algorithm.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's some kind of algorithm that you could then translate, but I don't think that you would be able to find out on an individual school where you fall in their distribution, but knowing that you've
No.
got a high versus low number would be helpful.
Right, exactly. Okay, thanks.
yeah, I think like what you said, it's like an algorithm. It's not like number 1, number 2, number 3. It's like this whole long thing. So I don't even know if you would be able to figure it out in that way. But also, like I said before, it also has to do with priority and what the school's priorities are and what grouping of priorities you're putting to.
I have another one, if you don't mind. Like Anilsa said, that there are 3 that we like as well, and the rest maybe not so much. Not the rest, but some of the others not so much. What would you consider the schools that are most like-minded to TNS in the middle school kind of District 1 group?
I mean, I will say that I feel like our kids have done really well going to all of the schools in District 1. Whether they're more like there aren't really the most, I guess the most progressive school that our kids like to go to would be ICE. That's a citywide, is that citywide? Yeah, citywide school. And it is, I think I saw they had 32 applicants per seat. So it's a very high demand school. However, our kids do really well at Eastside. They do really well at University Neighborhood. We sent some kids to Global Leaders last year, which was something that we haven't had a lot of kids historically go to Global Leaders. They have the baccalaureate and they're growing to high school. So they're sort of changing their program, and our kids do really well at Tompkins. So, I think that they've also gone to District 2 schools and also to some Brooklyn schools.
Mhm.
So I do feel like I've heard success stories at all of the District 1 schools. Those are mostly the schools, and then also some of the District 2 schools.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, so.
I have a question because I don't understand. When you guys said District 1, is that I have to apply to those schools? I
You
have to
do.
be in this.
You do have to apply to those schools in Nilsa, but they will automatically be populated on Diego's application because
Oh yeah, yeah.
he
I saw
attends
that when I
District 1.
go in, they pop like
Yep,
those
they,
schools that are near us. Near
Yep.
us. That's how you say? Yeah. Okay.
yes,
Okay. Great.
the ones that are near you will be on the application. Citywide schools will be on the application. Borough school
Uh-huh.
that you live in will be on the application, and boroughs, and then the borough of Manhattan, because Diego attends District 1 in Manhattan.
So it's District 1 and 2?
Nope, just District 1.
Just District 1. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
I say District 2 because we are right next to District 2, and so we have some families that live in District 2 that come to our
And
school.
District 2 is where? In Brooklyn?
No, District 2 is in Manhattan too. But you don't have to
Oh.
worry about it if you don't live in that district.
Okay.
Don't just put it out of your mind, because you don't need to worry about that. You worry about the district you live in, and then the one and District 1.
Okay.
Okay, Tim.
Just piggybacking on that question. So if I understand correctly, and I know I'm being asked, this is really silly, but because I think you just answered it, but if, so I understand what comes automatically on that list of possible schools. And in that, you're saying, if I want to go to the La Creme de la Creme in District 15, I can't fit that on the thing. I'm not eligible for that, correct? No way getting it on, right?
Right. Yep. If it's not on your list, it's not eligible for it. Yeah. That's why it's really important to make sure the address is correct on your application. Okay. I know you'll have questions as you navigate this. Again, please feel free to reach out to Tina,
Mhm.
Denise, or me. And we'll figure out if we can't answer it, we'll find a way to help you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, one final thing,
Thanks.
the applications are due March 1st, and the end of the process usually happens, you'll hear the responses at the beginning of May. Okay, I don't have an exact date, they don't have it out yet, but sometime around there.
That's because they don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you, guys.
Take care,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Take care.
bye-bye.